our world is secretly strange. It is like watching a flowing river. Water is always rushing through the river, but the river doesn't really hold any water. When you become aware of this, you will naturally try to hold life still and pin it down. But how long can you really hold water for in your bare hands? The harder you clutch, the faster it seeps through your fingers. In one point of view, this is just frustrating. Everything flows away, everything changes. And there's even a kind of sadness in that, a kind of chronic nostalgia. On the other hand, if you really understand the nature of change, it becomes the opposite. As you become aware that you can only see black because you know white. You only know silence because you can hear sound. Sharp only exists in relation to dull. High and low go together. Beautiful and ugly complement each other. Two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. In the same exact way, change implies permanence. Do you see now that life only exists because it is always disappearing?